Ladies and gentlemen, as the winner of the week, I get to start this video. How are all of you doing? Hope you're well. Welcome to Premier League Roundup, where we go through the fixtures of this weekend, all bar there is one game still to go, and we're going to mention that. Don't worry, Everton, West Ham. But, George, how's life?
Mate.
Order has been restored.
Order has been restored, you said, Eunice. We had a wonderful time yesterday watching Newcastle and Arsenal, and
Yeah.
that was, okay, I've read the comments. Eunice has read the comments. We've discussed this in private. We've discussed it on streams, okay? There is this belief that there's a curse right now of ShootOut. The ShootOut curse of Christmas past. Mate, I'm starting to believe it could be true, bruv.
Seems like it.
We are in the mud.
We are. We actually are. Look, we've, like he said, we've seen your comments. We can see what's going on. Trust me, we are as eager for a win in some sort of capacity as much as you.
Don't even care about Chelsea no more, bro.
No.
Like, just anyone.
Any result that we want to go our way, just can you go our way, please? Because every time we get done, even if it's in the last minute, we get done. So don't worry, we're suffering like you guys, but I guess it's all part of the banner.
It's all part of the plan. It can't all be plain sailing.
No.
Like, we're not here just for a month. We're here to take over the world, mate. That's what we want to do.
There's a long-term vision here.
There is. Shoot in, as some of you have said.
Much like Chelsea at the moment are trying to, or the hierarchy at Chelsea are trying to establish that there's a long-term vision there. Don't worry about what's going on. We've got a bigger picture.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
Talking about that, we're going to do another video, and that's going to be out later today after you've seen this. So make sure you're staying tuned. We're going to go into the detail on Chelsea and what is actually going on at the moment. That's video number 2 for the day.
Just subscribe and you won't miss it. Simple.
Notification bell on as well. And this one's the roundup to go through all the fixtures.
Let's do it, mate. Brentford Man United is the first one. And just to be fair, Eunice is the champion this week. He has smashed me. Even with the Everton West Ham game, he predicted the same score. So I think it was tactical. I think he knew what was coming. It's a cruise from you.
It is.
But we both did say a Brentford win, but you've nailed this.
I have absolutely nailed this.
Prediction of the week.
Jamal, I was waiting for you in the car park, mate. Where were you? Yeah. Listen, 3-1. I gotta be honest. I kind of wanted this result to happen. I didn't think it deep down would happen. I just thought I'd be a little bit flamboyant because I knew there would be a possibility of this result happening. But Brentford pulled it out of the bag, and you know, I've got two sides to me here.
God.
One side is like, yes, come on, United have lost to Brentford, fantastic. The other side is,
Robert Sanchez.
how did we not beat this United team, man?
Robert Sanchez, bro. That's it.
How?
That's it. Robert Sanchez and Enzo Maresca.
I mean, Brentford played them, I want to say, off the park in terms of the game plan. Possession and all of this we know wasn't in Brentford's favour, but they absolutely obliterated United for chances. Clinicality. They were just
Got
all
a better
over them.
goalkeeper as well. Like, Kelleher, unbelievable penalty save.
Yeah.
But also, like, the Man United goalkeeping situation is something worth discussing. Because if we're going to talk about that with Chelsea, we've got to talk about it with Man United. Because, like, none of their keepers they've had in how long are Manchester United level goalkeepers? The first goal is an absolute rocket. It's a hit from Thiago. The second one is just, like, bobbling around the box, big fumble. And the third one, it's almost like he's a ghost and the ball's gone through him. Like, you see that?
Yep.
Oh, how has that all even gone in?
And there's not much of a debate. I think it's clear, but the goalkeeper selections or the goalkeeper options at Manchester United, I mean, it's either, you know, you got Bayende or you've got Heaton, and that's off the back of having Onana who's left. So it's not. Come on, this is Manchester United we're talking about here, and they're not acting like Manchester United. Brentford deserved the win big time. Phenomenal goal. I don't want to get too what's the word? Too mocky, I guess. You know,
we got no right, man. We got no right.
Sesko.
Sesko dear until he scored that goal, mate. So far,
scored his first goal, and I mean the way that he got that as well. I mean, he had 3 attempts. I likened it to a £3 meal deal. You know, where it was beautifully offered on a plate because he had 1 attempt, then it hit the defender again, hit the defender, third time hits the net. You know, so Sesko gets on the score sheet finally.
Every cloud is it for Man United? Like, are they looking at that thinking, well, at least he's scored now. Like, is that the start for him? But all in all, mate, the problems, Manchester United right now are 14th in the Premier League table.
Yep.
They have got every single promoted club apart from Burnley, which makes it sound way worse than it is because there's only 3 of them, of course. But like they're literally how many points ahead of Burnley? They are just a couple of places ahead of Burnley. Like it's once again another dreadful start to the season for United. But well done, Brentford. Good at home.
Absolutely. And there's one talking point in regards to the whole Bruno Fernandes, pen, VAR, all of this. I mean, it's another controversial afternoon in terms of
weekend,
VAR, referees, red cards that should have been given. It's tiring talking about the refs and the PGMOL and VAR now. I mean, it's just every week you get more than one example. We had this in the Brentford United game where there should have been a red, and then you have other examples that we're going to get into.
It's actually so funny how many.
It's just hilarious at this point. It's a joke.
Yeah. No, I mean, the problem is I almost don't want to talk about it because I feel as though it's like a broken record.
Yeah.
But if we're going to talk about the football in the roundup show, it does dominate the headlines.
It does.
The results are obviously huge this weekend, like Man United beating 3-1, Chelsea beating 3-1, Arsenal leaving it late. We're going to get through all of these games. But unfortunately, these refereeing decisions just cloud the brilliance that is the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never even heard of this new Brentford striker. We should be talking about how he scored 2 goals against Man United. He's the second top scorer in the league, behind a robot in Erling Haaland.
100%.
But we're not. We're talking about, can they be... That's all I ask for is consistency. I'll say it in every stream, every video. That's all I want. I'm not even talking about this through the Chelsea tinted glasses, which we can move on to Chelsea if you want.
Well,
briefly.
Before we do, I do want to give the credit to Brentford off the back of the fact that they lost Thomas Frank and they've lost players like Mbeumo. And funny that. And Brentford get the job done in the way that they did. And you mentioned Igor Thiago. That hit that he had on the left foot where he smashes it almost into the roof of the net. Phenomenal finish. Great instinct. Brentford deserve the credit for what they actually did on the day. Yeah. Brentford's still a hard place to go to, even if some of the resources they've had are gone. You could argue Man United are just not up to it, and that's a different debate because United do look a mess. But credit to Brentford. I do want to give that because I know many people are just going to look at United and say, oh, they're just rubbish. But Brentford on the day, I think, were really, really good. Man United, though, huge problems. And trust me, it's not going to get better anytime soon.
You've seen it. The Potter and Southgate, mate. That's the rumours.
This is it.
Why don't they go in and do it together? Like, imagine that. Double act, mate. Man United, if you want to remain a big club, you've got to keep yourself in the headlines. Try and make it for the right reasons. I reckon a Graham Potter, Gareth Southgate combo could, like, cancel the negatives. Double negative, isn't it? Positive.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Sir Gareth and Graham going, the lads gave everything.
Sir Gareth and Big Grey.
Mate. Just double flipping face swaps going on left, right and centre. This is what's going on at Manchester United now. It's not good at all. For a club like United and the stature of their institution and where they should be, this is literally unacceptable now.
Yeah. Done. They are done.
Yeah.
And we're done talking about them. Oh, that means we've got to move on to the next game. Do we have to? We're not going to go over this one massively here because we will talk about Chelsea and Brighton again later. But I will say, Eunice, you had a lot of 3-1s and you got it right. Again, but you put your left foot on your right foot and your right foot on your left foot. Brighton battered us, didn't they?
Mate,
really?
I said 3-1.
You did. You did.
It's just I got the wrong teams. You know?
Dear me.
Where do we start?
Do you know what we should do? Let's just talk about the referee. Because if we're going to get it over and done with, we might as well use the Chelsea example because this is the biggest one for me.
You can start.
Malo Gusto has full-on booted someone in the skull and it's not a penalty. Okay, then. No worries, mate. Yeah, just keep that coming. And then Reece James goes down the other end just before it becomes 3-1 Brighton. I think that's a penalty too. But I wanted to make sure everybody knows that obviously Gusto, a serious foul play, mate. He's full-on. Maybe he didn't know too much about it. Maybe if it wasn't Malo Gusto right now, we would have been a bit more lenient. But what's he doing?
What is he doing?
What is he doing?
And this we can have a separate conversation about where Maresca bringing Gusto on in the first place and taking certain attackers off and all of this. We're going to get to that in a bit. But talking about Gusto specifically, I mean, I thought he was dreadful.
Yeah.
But that whack into the skull, right? How is that actually just... I'm happy it's not a pen, but how was that not a penalty? Like,
I'm laughing, otherwise I'll cry.
I don't understand. Off the back of that, talking about decisions, the red card. Remember during the watch long that we had on here, I was screaming for like clarity on who actually gave who touched the ball last once the ball ended up in the path of Chalobah and who he fouled. I forgot who it was. Gomez. Who was the last man to touch the ball before it ended up in their tracks? And I was like, VAR didn't give much clarity on that. Up until later on during the game, and you saw in the watch-along, it did actually, I managed to see a good angle, and I found this on X, of someone that independently went and checked themselves, that said, no, you know what, it did come off Andre Santos.
Yeah.
That, therefore, there's no offside, therefore... It's a legit pen. It's a legit red card and everything.
We need more good people like this in the world.
100%. But I find it baffling that I have to go to X to find clarity when in reality we should get it during the game from VAR. Again, this isn't about the tools in place. It's about how they're using it, and the people that are using it are just at this point completely incompetent.
It just takes too long too, and I think this is kind of the way that the VAR discussion has gone. At first, my qualm with it was that it kind of takes away from the moments in football, which I think are the moments that we all remember matches by and we remember seasons by moments, right? VAR takes away from that because you can't even celebrate those moments, really, because you don't know what's going to go down.
Yeah.
But then to make that worse, it's almost like rubbing salt in a wound, insult to injury. They then go and get it wrong again and again and again. And this isn't the last time we're going to discuss this today, because there's countless decisions here. And when we get into... Well, we're going to talk Palace Liverpool next, and then after that, Arsenal. Oh, I'm still not over that, mate. I'm still not over that. That's why we had to caveat the start of this video with, we're aware. Okay, we're aware we've got to turn this around.
Yeah, we have
Maybe
to.
it is Eunice and I's fault. I don't know.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. We start a YouTube channel, all of a sudden, Premier League clubs decide to go in a weird direction. I don't know. But away from all of that, and speaking about Chelsea specifically here, I feel like Brighton had everything on a plate for them.
Yeah.
For the first half, where Chelsea we went 1-0 up, 11v11, things were looking good.
We played very well in the first half.
We looked good, which was normally a little bit of a surprise because we normally like to get going in the second half. I don't know why. But we started off well. And then it's the red card. And I hate that Chelsea, for the second game in a row, are in this situation where then it goes into panic mode. Then we start making crazy decisions. Then all of a sudden we throw the game, and Brighton have more than enough to be able to take advantage. Specifically, Danny Welbeck, who honestly I rate really, really highly in terms of a proper impact player. Yeah. This guy come on like a super sub, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used to come on as a super sub. You just know he's getting on the score sheet. And against Chelsea, it's like a ritual at this point. I think that was Brighton literally playing the long game and taking advantage of the situation that fell into their laps.
Yeah. Then you've got one manager making substitutions to win, one inviting the pressure to lose with the subs. Subs change games, and that's exactly what happened.
I want to ask, because obviously this is a broadened football channel, right? So we're going to have fans of other clubs here. This isn't like our channels where it's specifically Chelsea. I want to find out from everyone. Let us know in the comments. How do you read Enzo Maresca down to 10 men, taking off attackers like Esteval and taking off the attackers that we have at our disposal to try and put more defenders on once we go down to 10 men, whilst Chelsea's weakness at the moment is defending? We can't defend to save our lives.
Absolutely not.
We just can't do it. It's clear as day now. And I almost don't want to say it because I don't want to put it out there. But everyone knows. You'd have to be blind to not see it at this point. This isn't secret information. If you just lump it into the box against Chelsea, you're going to score.
It's so simple. And I've got nothing more to add to the context of that. It is put the ball in the box above the ground and you'll score.
Yeah, that is literally it. Just cross it. Chances are, enough times, you're scoring 1 or 2. So if that's the case, Is bringing more defenders on the answer when we do that and we still concede? Or would you actually try and overload the attack to give yourselves an opportunity? Let us know in the comments what you would do, because Maresca, for the second game in a row, has made substitutions that have just not made any sense and put Chelsea on the back foot, invited pressure, and we've conceded, just like United, just like Brighton.
Embarrassing. Let's move on, mate, please. And let's talk about a story that is actually... It puts a smile on my face, you know. Crystal Palace are a serious football team.
They are.
18 games unbeaten. They've beaten Liverpool again for the second time in 2 months.
And they're both... Third.
Third time. Where was the other one?
Oh, no, sorry. The FA Cup final wasn't Liverpool.
Man City.
My bad, Man City.
But let's call that what it is.
Oh, no, it says big result in my head.
Mate, Crystal Palace right now are sat the only unbeaten team in the Premier League.
Yep.
And they're third. They've lost Eze. They've got maybe right now the best manager in the league.
Hands down.
I mean, obviously Pep Guardiola, well done. Arne Slot is a champion too. But outside of all of this, right, Glasner's the best manager in the Premier League.
Easily. And no one's expecting Glasner to do this. On top of that, Glasner, who, I mean, they've lost Eze. That's one. Going into this season, off the back of the achievements of last season and the Charity Shield or the Community Shield, you expect, even after the transfer window where he really advocated for Mark Guehi to stay, and there was a whole rumour of threatening to just leave if he does lose his defender. Off the back of all of that, he's still got them playing, and got them playing even stronger, you'd say. Can Palace actually make a case for a European place like Champions League or something? I mean, you'd think no. But right now, they are literally one of the only few teams that are showing that they can.
Top 7, yeah. If we're basing it off of last season.
Yeah.
There's no reason. The only reason I think that they won't is probably the saddest reason of them all. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? I said that Nuno would end up at West Ham. Lo and behold, we got that one already in September.
Yep.
Glasner's going to end up at Manchester United.
Do you think so?
I really do. And I think there was... I don't know how true this is, but I heard a rumour that he knows this is his last year at Palace, at best, because he wants another Premier League move. And that can only have been if Arteta goes at Arsenal, which is also plausible if they don't win the league this year.
Plausible.
But Man United is the obvious one, and that could happen sooner than later. But if I was Oliver Glasner, I would literally be looking at this and thinking, hang on a second, like, possibly at this point, the best manager in Palace recent history, at least in my lifetime. I'm not fully educated on Crystal Palace that much. But to win them an FA Cup in itself is just inexplicable, potentially, for a club like Palace.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal achievement. And then to galvanise this team, having lost one of their best players, almost losing their captain as well, the respect that Mark Guehi has for Glasner, that, like, you wouldn't get that from a lot of top players that are about to get a move to the Premier League champions. You wouldn't get that level of solidity to just be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to get on with my job. And I think this is much credit to Mark Guehi for being that professional, but it's also a credit to the manager, to the institution, to the club, to his teammates, for it just being like, all right, business as usual, let's go. And they're unbeaten, mate. And that is a huge win. It should have been more. Mateta, what a striker.
It should have been more on the basis of the chances that they had. When you look at that game specifically, you see how much time on the ball they actually had. Really minimal. But every time they had the ball, there's a threat. And I love how Glasner's got Palace playing without much of the ball, but they're always on the front foot.
Yeah.
You know, so the limited time that they have on the ball against big opposition, when they do have it, they're maximising it like no other team in the Premier League is maximising it at the moment. You know, you just know for the small time they have on the ball, they're going to create a chance. And they're not going to be scared to come at you. And they had chance after chance after chance after chance. And credit to Palace, because Liverpool, and I think psychologically, this is a big thing. Liverpool have been known this season for being the team to score in the last 5-10 minutes. Every single flipping game, every competition, they claw something out. We thought it was happening again, right? Chiesa scores in the 87th minute. And we're like, okay, Liverpool have done it again, as usual.
Yeah.
How ironic that it's Palace that's able to get a 97th minute winner with Nketiah against Liverpool, the team that normally does get a result in the last 5-10. And that's Palace and Glasner on the front foot, not giving up. Because normally, a team like Palace would settle for a draw and just try and retreat and just go, we're going to take the point. And this is where I give so much credit to Glasner and Crystal Palace for going, nah, we're going to, even after conceding late, we're going to go and get the winner. And they done just that. So I honestly, fantastic. And you mentioned about Glasner, and I want to pinpoint this. My own personal opinion, you can let me know what you think as well. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. If I'm Glasner, there's no way I'm going to United.
No.
And you mentioned Arsenal. That's a very, very, very good and smart option to see in the not too distant future. Because if Arteta doesn't win the league,
yeah,
he might be cooked. And if that's the case, there's a job available. But I think Glasner does need to stay until the end of the season. So that could align really, really well.
Yeah.
I would say that's the best option.
Imagine the whole Palace situation, right, and what happened with Forest. Imagine if this year he's like, we don't need to win the FA Cup to go to the Europa League. He wants to just go and get them there from the league position.
Imagine.
Like, that is legendary icon status. I hope he does it. I really do. I enjoy watching Palace, and I enjoy seeing this story unfold, to be fair.
I agree.
Something I didn't enjoy, though, Eunice, was the story that unfolded yesterday at St James's Park. Because my word was that, again, tumultuous, I think could be the word I would use, ending to the game. Lots of late Premier League goals, by the way, which, shout out Premier League. We do love the football, don't we?
That's why it's the best league in the world, just saying.
But Arsenal found a way, and that is the sign of potential champions, I will say it.
100%.
Because Liverpool have dropped 3. Arsenal have gained 3 in unlikely settings.
Yeah.
Mikel Merino comes off the bench, scores with 6 minutes to go. And then Gabriel scores a 96th minute winner. And look, I was flabbergasted. I didn't have words to use last night on the stream. I was just like, can we just go to bed? And I did exactly that once the game went off. As soon as I said goodbye to Eunice, I was out for the count. But should he have even been on the pitch? Because as far as I'm concerned, he did a very good impression of David Raya. Phenomenal save to deny Elanga, by the way, from Gabriel.
100%. 100%. No, you know what? For this fixture, for the way that we saw it go down, we were just talking about him. I have to give credit to Arteta. It's more than 1 or 2 games now where we're seeing his impact off the bench, and that's what's saving Arsenal. Which is not something we've been able to say in past seasons, where Arteta makes decisions and all of a sudden he's actually saved them the game. We've seen how many times so far, and this was in the Champions League against Bilbao, where he brings on Trossard, he brings on Martinelli, lo and behold, they're the assist makers, they're the goal scorers. In this regard as well, Newcastle being 1-0 up, where that's a very hard place to come back from.
Yeah.
We said in the predictions that if Arsenal get the first goal, it could be a case where they run away with it. But if Newcastle get the first goal at St James's Park, they have the ability to retreat and just lock things off. Not necessarily just off parking the bus. Newcastle don't really park the bus, but they're just so strong that they're just hard to get through. You know, they will still try and counter. They'll still try and score. They're not going to just retreat and just sit back. But to try and score against them whilst they're protecting a lead too is a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Arteta makes substitutions that has saved them the game. He brings on Merino. And we had this conversation earlier in the week of the Arsenal midfield and how should it operate. You got Zubimendi, you got Rice, you got Merino. Do you play all 3 or do you remove one? Most people would look and go, yeah, no, just remove Merino because that gives another option for an attacking player to play. And this is where he played Eze in the 10, which made sense.
He had big chances too, Eze, didn't he? Forced some big saves out. Nick Pope, by the way.
Nick Pope was phenomenal.
Mate, Newcastle.
Man of the match?
I think you'd give it to Gabriel now.
Now you would, based on the last-minute goal.
But I'll say this about Newcastle. They're 15th in the league, but they've kept 4 clean sheets out of 6 games. Most clean sheets in the league so far. And the only teams they've conceded against are both Liverpool and Arsenal at home.
Yeah.
And it was late goals. But isn't that like exactly what you would have expected from Newcastle? To lose Isak, it's like, all right, well, we've lost maybe the world's best striker at the time of losing him. And then, okay, where are the goals going to come from? Voltemada's scoring them, but they've solidified at the back. I don't think Newcastle are playing like they're 15th right now, in their credit.
No. And this is what we mentioned on the watch along, and this is where I want to bring the managers into it, because taking off a player like Nick Woltemade, who scored the header And again, it's such a, at this point, it seems like it's such a typical Big Nick goal. Yeah,
Big Nick goal, mate.
Because he's 6'7", 6'8". Just lump the ball in. He's going to get a head onto it. He's going to score. And he done just that. Beautiful finish. But Eddie Howe retreated. Mm-hmm. Now, we did say, and you mentioned this on the watch long yesterday, of, okay, Big Nick's not always been 100% fit. Is that the reason? Maybe, right? But not being able to keep, I guess, your attacker on the pitch in that way and trying to maybe just protect the lead and invite the pressure again, similar to Chelsea. Arteta capitalised on that. Once again, bringing on Moreno, bringing on Odegaard. Odegaard was the one who assisted Gabriel for the winner. So you see the impact that Arteta made compared to what Eddie Howe decided to do, maybe to just protect the 1-0 lead. That might have actually cost them, instead of just maybe keep the pressure on Arsenal and give them something to think about. They didn't, and Arsenal got the win. And it's deserved. In the end of the day, it's deserved.
It's the big stories of the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Managers making big decisions, and them either going in favour or against.
Exactly. And there's the whole referee saga that we got to talk about for the Newcastle-Arsenal game too.
Oh, do we? Great.
What a surprise. What a surprise. I want to mention, right? I just have to bring this up. I don't understand how Gabriel, with his arm up, legit like this, and it's not a handball. Why? Because Elanga makes the cross. I mean, it seemed like a cross because he wanted to dink it, into the middle of the box whilst already being in the box. But he wanted to pass it across. It takes the slightest touches. The slightest. It's a graze off Gabriel's leg. Then hits his arm. And it's not a handball, even though his arm is up like this, like he's waving to the bus, to stop it whilst he's at a bus stop. And it's not a handball. I don't understand that. The ball is making its way into the box regardless for a goal-scoring opportunity, and it's been stopped with an arm. That's a handball, end of story. But the rule seems to make it seem like as long as it takes one slight graze off a leg, it's void. That is bonkers for me.
But it's ambiguous. All of this
is subjective.
Subjective, yeah. That's what the ambiguity comes from, the subjectivity of it. So isn't the VAR, surely the job of the VAR is to purely make this about, does it adhere to the rules? Yes, no, decision. Done. How many people will it take to get that footage and then get that right? Because it seems to me like it gets more complicated every year. And it's like, people don't like change because change means something's different and that takes a while to get used to. But why are you changing something that wasn't broken? 100%. Why do we keep changing football rules all the time? Why? Like, we all did see problems with it because you could talk about decisions. And imagine if VAR existed when Chelsea played Barcelona in 2009. I wonder what the scoreline would have been that day.
Yep.
But at the same time, at the moment, it just keeps creeping back into the conversation, doesn't it?
It does. It does all the time. And this is where the lack of consistency is the problem. Because if things are just done clearly and there's consistency across all games based on the exact same rules, then fair enough. But we're seeing differences with the same occasions, the same situations and scenarios playing out, but different outcomes. And it's simply down, not to the VAR technology or anything like that. It's down to the people behind it all that just keep making these wacky decisions, and I don't understand it.
And I think, do you know what the frustrating thing is? When a lot of these decisions come out and they're like, oh, sorry about that. Stop apologising for the inconvenience and apologise for your incompetence. Big difference. Get it done. Get out of the van. Get another job. Get someone else in there. That's what I said.
Big time.
Flipping heck, man.
But no, credit to Arsenal for nicking it in the way, because if you want to win the title, and this is the criticisms we've had for Arsenal over the last couple of seasons, is that it's these sort of results that you need to nail down. Liverpool dropped points, and Arsenal managed to get points in the last second. That is what a team fighting for the title has to do, and they've done it, so credit.
Yep, they have. And they're now, 2 points behind Liverpool, and it would have been 5. So yeah, we have to say well done. It is what it is. Yep. Let's move on before we praise Arsenal too much. Leeds Bournemouth, 2-2.
What was our predictions for this?
You said 1-1. I said 2-1 to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So Krupi has got you an extra point there, sir.
Lovely jubbly.
Great result again for Leeds, I think, because Bournemouth, very good team. currently 6th in the Premier League, and Leeds are 11th. But I feel like there's just a good energy about Leeds. I saw a stat about all of these promoted clubs, and we'll talk about Sunderland in a minute, but I think it's the most points accrued by the 3 promoted clubs by more than double.
Oh, really?
In the first 6 games for like maybe ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, mad.
There you are.
Absolutely mad.
And that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times we see promoted teams come up and then you only get one that actually performs in the way they should. And then the others, you're like, yeah, they're going back down.
But like Leeds, I'm a Chelsea fan, right? Let's not beat around the bush. But I'm happy to see them in the Premier League. They're a massive club.
100%.
Great fan base in terms of numbers and noise. And, Ellen Road was absolutely rocking. And the goals that they scored, you could just see like the whole place is buzzing right now. I think maybe surprising for Leeds fans potentially that they're scoring goals, they're getting points. But for Bournemouth, again, not a bad result on the road. They've only lost once all season.
Not a bad. Bournemouth might look at this and maybe go, nah, you know what, we should have done better. But considering that they were losing, and I mean, Semenyo gets the goal as always. You mentioned him every single week, and every single week this brother is scoring. So well done to Semenyo. He's a top player. But Bournemouth and again, we talk about last-minute winners or last-minute equalisers, last-minute goals. That's exactly what happened with Bournemouth, 93rd minute. And they managed to get themselves an equaliser. Leeds can feel a little hard done by, but Bournemouth are a quality team. When we see what they've done with Areola this season so far, it's not a surprise that they've managed to claw it back. But you can say away from home it's a decent result. And for Leeds, yeah, they didn't lose. So at the end of the day, I think fair play to Leeds as well.
Yep, good result. Yeah. Probably for both, I'd say.
Probably, yeah, I would say.
Man City 5, Burnley 1. This didn't go the way we thought it might have done at one point, at 1-1. Shout out Jadon Anthony, who's got 4 league goals this season.
Yeah.
But for me, I think there's one man I want to talk about here because just because he scores loads of goals, people have kind of just let it go. Haaland is a joke, bro. He's a absolute joke. 8 goals already this season. I saw another stat about him. It's like, in terms of the first 6 games, who scored the most goals, he is, I think, 4 times he appears in the top 9 for most goals scored after 6 games in a season. He's got 8, bro. Like, Man City might not seem like anything special, but we've got to talk about Erling Haaland because I feel like he's almost underappreciated now.
It's phenomenal form. The fact that right now, as you said, and this is Man City that are not playing outstanding, but 8 in 6. That's more than 1 goal a game.
Yeah, mad.
That's ridiculous. And he's got more than double of second, who's Thiago.
Yeah.
In terms of top goal scorers so far. Is Haaland going to run away with it? I mean, look, irrespective of how well or not so well Man City do this season, one thing that you can bank on is Erling Haaland's going to bang in loads of goals. And the man is a cheat code.
Yeah.
People have the thing of, is Haaland going to fit in their system and all of that? Well, yeah, you can make the case of playing one certain type of football, in terms of the striker constantly linking up and being part of the play. But it's not needed. Get the ball to Haaland and just let him do the rest.
Or get the ball to Maxime Esteve and he'll put it in your net for you. 2 own goals, brother. Like,
how do you get 2 own goals?
Bro, he's in my FPL team as well. I'm like, he's a good defender. Burnley will be pretty hard to beat. Flipping heck, mate. He's basically just throwing points away, isn't he? Plonker. 2 own goals. Unfortunate. Scott Parker can just put this game to bed, I think. And it's Man City away. Like, did anyone expect any different? Move on.
I said 3-1, didn't I? And
I said 2-1. I thought it was going to be close, but Haaland
5-1.
stepped up, didn't he?
5-1, yeah. Big up Haaland.
Moving on. Forest Sunderland, mate. Round of applause for Sunderland, please. Like, what team? Granit Xhaka. I saw a Sunderland fan put on X that, I don't know how old he was, but I reckon probably late 20s, early 30s. Yep. He says, best Sunderland player he's ever seen.
Ever?
In his lifetime.
Oh, I was about to say.
I don't know the name of the account, sorry. But I did see this, and then I watched the extended highlights of this game. I didn't watch this game. But Sunderland, man, Granit Xhaka, he's everywhere. And it's like, we said this before, it's almost as if, like, the glove is Sunderland, and this is Granit Xhaka's hand. Do you know what I mean? He's just gone straight in there. It fits.
This goes back to their recruitment overall. Yeah. In terms of Sunderland's business in the summer, I thought was class. And that's what you need to do as a promoted team, as long as you've got some resources in order to get yourself established in the Premier League and not put yourself in a position where you're more than likely to go down again. Sunderland, I think, out of all the promoted teams, were the best ones in the window. And they've set the tone. They've set the tone really, really well. To go to Forest and play against a team that, you know, if you're playing against Forest under Nuno, and you know that they're going to be a little bit reserved and whatnot, you can argue, okay, it's going to be maybe a little bit difficult to get through them. But at the same time, Big Ange and Forest now with this new way and new style, which doesn't seem to be clicking at the moment. And we said this is maybe going to take a bit of time because there's a whole transition in terms of style of play.
Yeah.
But that's a threat on Sunderland too. Sunderland have to defend. And they are really, really well. Yeah. And when you look at Granit Xhaka and you look at what they've got at their disposal, they are making most of what they have. And I thought away from home to get it done at the City ground. Credit to Sunderland. Huge, huge credit for getting this win.
Big goalkeeping performance too. Like old school goalkeeping, not diving too early, putting a leg out, extending this, standing tall and just being a block. Well done, Sunderland.
Yep, 100%. And right now, in terms of the table, Sunderland are sitting 5th.
That's 11 a Champions League spot last season, mate.
Yeah.
That's the same as the bloody Geordies, mate.
They're ahead of City.
They are. They're ahead of Chelsea too, aren't they? Sorry. Let's move on to the history of the Tottenham, mate. That's the one, isn't it?
The history of the Tottenham.
Almost. If Wolves would have, we said we were going to start with it if Wolves won.
Yeah.
And it was almost, apart from Joao Polini's great finish, by the way.
Yeah.
Lovely goal. But Tottenham, I mean, they're 4th. Can we really say anything? Tottenham fans, I think, will feel very hard done by here because this is huge 2 points dropped. Megalodon sharp points dropped.
I don't think they'll feel hard done by. They'll feel peed off.
Yeah, hard done by in the sense of like the league could look even better.
Oh, no, 100%, yeah. I mean, because Tottenham have had a really good start.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is why we alluded to in the predictions that if there's one team in this league that will just give Wolves points, right, it would be Spurs. And they were this close to losing at home to Wolves. That would have been a calamity.
Yeah.
Right? Because Wolves have been atrocious, have lost all their games. And even this, Wolves have been given a point. You know, well, not given a point. They nearly got 3. But it's their first point of the season.
Yeah.
And it's done at Tottenham. I mean, that's really poor for Tottenham on the day, to be honest. Despite the Paulinho goal, which was a really good goal. Really, really poor.
Kudus was good, though. He looks
always,
like he's a serious player for Spurs.
He 100% is. And this is where like the Tottenham's business was really good business.
Yeah.
Really good business, which is shocking as to why Wolves have managed to walk away with a point here and nearly 3. But if there's one team to do it, like I say, they could have Messi and Ronaldo. Tottenham's Tottenham.
It is the history of the Tottenham.
It's the history of the Tottenham. But they managed to claw themselves out of what would have been a very, very embarrassing situation.
Yeah.
So I guess fair play for that.
And the final game we're going to go through here, because obviously Everton West Ham is tonight.
Yes.
Villa have kind of just started now, haven't they? Aston Villa season began yesterday.
There it is.
3-1 win.
There it is.
John McGinn, great goal. First win of the season. They're out the relegation zone. And this game, I thought Fulham were going to win it. You said Villa were going to win it. And Villa just scored 2 goals very quickly at the start of the second half. Game over, job done.
Did I predict 2-1 or 3-1?
You said 2.
I said 2, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
So close.
Yeah.
So close. But this is why I was alluding to a Villa win. Is like, I think we're going to see it maybe a similar pattern to last season, where away from home, Villa are just not that good. But home, they're going to get some results. And they had to kick into gear at some point. You know, this isn't a rubbish Aston Villa team with a poor manager. This is Aston Villa. They are going to win games. And I looked at this and thought, it starts here, surely. And they've done that. You know, Fulham have had a decent start to the season. And it's not been all their way. But they're not going to win every game either. This is the reality. And Aston Villa had to kick into gear at some point. They done just that. So I expect more results like this at Villa Park for Aston Villa. It's the first of many, I reckon. So...
And then we've got one more game tonight. Everton versus West Ham. Nuno's first game in charge of West Ham. David Moyes against West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
I can only see this going one way. 0-0 draw. Wasn't worth talking about anyway. But by the time that this game is on, you'll probably see the second video today, which is a Chelsea conversation. I think Eunice and I have got to sit here and talk about this because, unfortunately, it looks like it's all going tits up again for Chelsea, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there's a conversation to be had, and obviously we've heard rumours over the last 24 hours of updates of what's going on and how the club are looking at it. So we'll go into some detail on Chelsea's situation. But right now in the Premier League table, Chelsea at 8th. Right, we got Liverpool top of the league, Arsenal in 2nd, Palace in 3rd, 1 point behind Arsenal. Tottenham and Sunderland and Bournemouth 4th, 5th and 6th, all on 11. Man City on 10 in 7th. Chelsea in 8th. Everything's really tight. So you've got Chelsea, Brighton, Fulham, Leeds, all on 8 points. And then Everton, Brentford, United, all on 7 points. Newcastle, Aston Villa, all on 6 points. There's 2 points that separate 16th from 8th.
Next time we do this, mate, the international break is either going to stink or it might be a bit better. Great analysis from me.
We'll see. In terms of our predictions, though, I have to maybe dig this in a little bit. But yeah, it went well for me and not so well for you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The score is currently George 2, Eunice 1.
It is.
We'll end on that.
I did say, that's it. No more for him.
It's the history of the Eunice.
It's the history of the Eunice.
We'll see you later.